Yes, I'm back in the Shark 6 once again. This, however, this is the production version. If you were to buy one today, this is the version you're going to get. Now, as for today's towing video, right now I'm on my way to pick up a car trailer and a bit of British Leyland ballast, and then I want to tell you about this car. Let's talk tech specs and what makes this version different from the pre-production version you may have seen me driving a few months ago, in which I did an economy run going across the breadth of the North Island. I made a cup of coffee on the back because you can. The power points on the back work while the vehicle is in motion. I also got it stuck quite a lot in some mud. I also got it airborne a little bit, which I thought was going to destroy my relationship with BYD, but they saw the video and said, hey, here you go, here's the keys for another one. So, okay. As for what makes this vehicle different though, well, it's a plug-in hybrid ute, but it's a little different from your typical hybrid, because generally hybrids, in my experience, they're often gutless things. You know, they put a tiny little electric motor and a tiny gutless petrol engine with a microscopic battery to give you terrible performance and a lackluster driving experience and pretty average economy. This is different. This one has a massive battery in it and a very useful range. I got this thing to do 87 Ks on one charge in electric only mode. Now that's 87 Ks of city and highway driving. I pushed it and it still did really well. However, what its range is going to be once it's actually towing on electric mode, place your bets. Now I mentioned it's got power, and I'm not kidding, it's not a slouch. This is a big heavy vehicle, but it's got two electric motors, one motor driving the front wheels, one motor driving the rear wheels, making it all-wheel drive. However, its power output is impressive. 321 kilowatts of power, 650 torquing Isaacs, and altogether that gives this thing a 0 to 100 time of 5.7 seconds. Now that's pretty good for a vehicle that weighs this much and is this block shaped. It is a hybrid, however, which means it does have a 1.5 litre petrol combustion engine under the bonnet. This one's a series hybrid most of the time. So you've got your combustion engine powering your electric motors, which recharge the batteries, but then this one can also become a parallel hybrid, which means both the electric motors and the combustion engine are physically driving the wheels. It's got a clutch driving the front wheels physically from the combustion engine. It's all just a little bit smart. What glorious weather, huh? This will make a fun video. This has got all the bugs ironed out. If you remember, when I was off-roading in that vehicle, sometimes when I'd select sand mode, it would say sand mode selected, but it would also say mud mode selected at the same time. Didn't make a lot of sense. Also, as you saw, when I got stuck, one wheel was spinning while the others weren't, so obviously the off-road software needed a little bit of tweaking. BYD supposedly have done all of that. I will get my chance to test that, not today, but I will get my chance, so do hit the subscribe button, because I will be going on a proper off-road course with an actual off-roadologist. BYD supposedly have also fixed the software that controls the hill descent control, so now it's no longer locked to 8 kilometers an hour, it's more fluid. Plus they've also done other things, like they've changed the tow hooks on the underside of the vehicle. So those are now more streamlined, a little bit more minimalist, less likely to catch on the dirt when you take this thing off-roading and crunch the underside. They've also given it 3 different canopies you can get, plus there is this back tray that this one's got, which is just a flat liftable lid, which is really handy for hauling potatoes and keeping stuff dry. Another thing that's been added to this production version is a tow bar. This now comes as standard with a tow bar. Its tow rating is 2.5 tons. You can, however, save a little bit of money if you want to take the tow bar off, but I wouldn't recommend it, because what is a ute without a tow bar? The only other difference I can think of is supposedly the seats in the production version are slightly larger, just slightly larger, and the only reason I know that is BYD told me when they put in the seat covers, they were testing them out, the new seat covers they had made for this model, apparently they fill out a little thicker. Slightly thicker seats, but barely noticeably. Overall though, the car feels exactly the same to drive. It's a well-appointed vehicle. It's got more than enough power. It's comfortable, it's got all the toys, but is it any good at towing? Does it fall short when it's under load all the time? Well, that's the point of today's video. Let's go hitch something up and take this across the country. Good morning, and you join me at the beginning of a towing test. I am right here in Ecotricity, and I am taking this BYD Shark 6 ute on a journey all the way across to Taupo and then up to Taupo. Now this is a total distance of 258 kilometers, and you're probably wondering, what am I towing? Well, have a look at what's on the back of this. Yes, it's my project car, my 1977 Austin Allegro on a car transport trailer. Plus, there is an extra 100 kilograms of NMC battery chemistry. Those are the batteries I'm using for my electric car conversion. They are in the back of this ute. Plus, you probably noticed there's an appliance on the back. Well, it got really rainy the last couple of days, so I dried everything with rags and everything this morning, but then I needed a way to dry the rags. So I thought rather than just leave them sitting in a wet bucket, I'll put them in a dryer and dry them on the way to the event. I've reset the odometers, and we're going to be looking at how this load, which is approximately 1.5 tons, is going to affect this vehicle's economy. Now, the vehicle's maximum tow rating is 2.5 tons, so you might be thinking, oh, 1.5 tons, it sounds pretty light, but no, it's about the same weight as a small to medium-sized boat, typical boat the Kiwi family has, or a small caravan. A lot of Kiwis have those as well, so I think it's a fairly realistic representation. As for the vehicle, it has a full tank of petrochemicals, plus I've got the charge set at 70%, and oh, it's an EV mode. I'm going to switch it over to hybrid mode. So soon that combustion engine will start. I can't hear the combustion engine yet. Is it running? Actually, there's one way to find out. Let's click on energy consumption. Energy manager. Oh, the engine's running. Just can't hear it. So I reckon this 1.5 tons of weight combined, plus the added aerodynamic effects of having a clothes dryer on the back, plus the fact that it is drawing about 1.2 kilowatts right now of power from the car's battery. And the engine, there you go. The engine's revs are really ramping up to find that torque sweet spot to generate as much electricity as possible to keep the batteries filled up while it's in towing mode and we're climbing up a hill. I drive EVs so much I forget about what it's like to have a combustion engine in the vehicle. All right, we are entering the 100 zone. Now, if I were able to drive this on electric mode, well, your costs would be basically zero. You only pay for your road user charges when you're driving on electric, which on a plug-in hybrid right now is only $38 per 100k. So if you're a tradie and you're going to be doing most of your driving around a city like Wellington, Christchurch, Hamilton, Auckland, then most of your daily driving, you will not be burning a droplet of petrol. And that is one of the biggest chunks of expenditure for your business, right? Fuel for your ute. Well, not in this thing. If you drive on electric mode, it costs nothing. That is if you have solar panels on your house like I had on mine, and here comes the plug for Ecotricity. If you haven't got solar, you should really consider getting it, because solar panel prices have fallen 90% in the last decade. Also, if you can't get solar, or even if you do and you want to pump it back into the grid like I do, you should be signing up with Ecotricity. It's New Zealand's only certified climate positive electricity provider. That means all the electricity they provide to you are from clean, renewable sources, wind, hydro, solar. That's all there is, ecotricity.co.nz. But right now, let's concentrate on economy, and I guess I better pick up my speed. We're on the open road right now. We are doing 87 kilometers an hour. The speed limit for towing a trailer in New Zealand is 90 k's an hour, so we should be a-okay at this speed, not holding up too many cars. Now, if I were able to drive this on pure electric mode, which you can, I expect the full charge would probably only get me about, I would say, 40 kilometers while towing a load like this. That's because whenever you're towing on electric power, basically whatever the car's official range is, chop it in half. Towing draws a lot of electricity, which is why in this instance a plug-in hybrid can be useful. As for economy, officially this vehicle uses 7.9 litres per 100k on the open road when not towing. I found in the real world with a slightly heavy right foot I got 10 litres per 100k. However, with towing, well, here's the chance for you to place your bets. What will it get? Make it up. Have a guess. We'll find out at the end of the day. I am in towing mode right now though, which means that as soon as you connect up a trailer hitch, the car recognizes it as soon as you plug something in, and it switches into towing mode. And that changes a few things. First of all, your automatic emergency braking is turned off, your lane keep assist is turned off. A lot of features are basically turned off. Basically, pay attention, you're in control of this thing and that, not BYD. Next thing I want to address is regen braking. If you don't know what it is, basically all it is when you're slowing down, it turns the electric motors into generators and turns that what would have been wasted electricity back into the battery bank, gives you about 5-10% extra range. The thing is though, there's been a lot of discussion on the internet over which is better, to turn your regen braking up to maximum or turn it down to minimum. And the verdict, according to all the sources I've searched around the internet, is minimum. And that's because this trailer has its own braking system built in. So as soon as I slow down, the mechanical brakes, the inertia-based brakes, will begin to slow both the trailer and the vehicle down. To a point, obviously. Drive it sensibly. As for the clothes dryer in the back, it is currently running at about 1.2 kilowatts, running off the 3 sockets in the back tray. It's one of the great party pieces about this vehicle is it's got 3 outlets, regular household outlets in the back tray, which as you can see, operate while the vehicle is in motion. How cool is that? It means that as you're on your way to the job site, you can charge up your tools in the back or, dry your rags. Now, I was told to keep the battery on the vehicle at about 70%, and you can do that by adjusting the slider on the screen here. You can have it set as to what charge you want the battery to be at when you arrive to your destination. I'm going to need as much charge as possible in that battery, so I'm going to leave that set to 70%. Next thing I want to point out is the gasometer that tells you how far you've got remaining in both electric and petrol modes. And I've got to point out that it's not very accurate. Unfortunately, the petrol gasometer is not dynamic. The electric gasometer does. When you've got it in electric mode and it tells you how far, how much range you've got left, that's dynamic. That'll fluctuate depending on how economic your driving style is. Not the petrol gauge, I'm sorry. You just gotta go old school. It's not hard though. I mean, if you grew up with just gas gauges without this stuff, it's not confusing. It's not like an American roundabout. Now, I'm sure there will already be criticism in the YouTube comments under this video saying, hey, you're only towing about 1.5 tons. That's not a fair test because the vehicle's rated for 2.5 tons. And come on, if you're driving and towing at the vehicle's limit all the time, you need a vehicle with a higher tow rating. And there are vehicles available that have a higher tow rating, but none with a range and electric mode quite like this. Your next best bet would be like one of the more entry-level Ford Ranger Raptors or Toyota Hiluxes. They have a tow rating of 3.5 tons, but BYD have announced that they do have another vehicle like this with a 3.5 ton tow rating coming. When it lands, I will check it out. I'll let you in on a little secret. One of the main reasons I wanted to put a dryer on the back, because do you remember that 90s TV ad with that Drive laundry detergent where this guy chucks his laundry in some Drive laundry detergent in a chili bin, goes off-roading, then dries it by going fast and all that? I thought, what if we could do that, but with a 21st century twist, using onboard mains power and, you know, a bit of whiteware. Oh, I've got a convoy of cars behind me. I better do the honourable thing and pull over. Gosh, it's foggy this morning. I was kind of hoping for nicer weather, but supposedly when we get to the event, actually I'll let you in on the secret, it is Electricana. It's the big electric car event. We might just take that Allegro off the trailer and see if we can get it running on an extension cord off this BYD. Stay tuned, should be a bit of fun. But now let's settle in for a long drive. I'm going to chuck in my address into the onboard maps. Let's see if it recognises it. Hi BYD.
Hi there.
Navigate to Taupo.
Here's what I found. Which would you like?
None of that is in this country. What? Okay, might need a bit of work on that. I just want regular Taupo. Just show me Taupo. Taupo herbs aside. Why not? Quick embarrassing update. I made a little mistake. I was using the onboard map system in the BYD and it said turn left on a road and I thought, it didn't feel right. Is the map wrong?
Oh, this is not where I want to be.
So I ignored it and sure enough it was right. So yeah. 10 minutes later, found a, oh my retinas, 10 minutes later, found a spot to turn around. Okay, so it's a very comfortable vehicle, I should point out, now that we're about half an hour into the journey. It's just riding perfectly. I mean, got all the creature comforts you could want. And it's all voice commands as well. Hi BYD.
I'm here.
Turn on seated heats.
Sure, I'll turn on seat heating.
Look at that, it even speaks Gavin. Love it. What? What's meant to turn around? Oh, freaking map's upside down. The thing is, I've already seen that there are some towing tests done in Australia on this vehicle, and they've been very interesting, but not very reflective of typical Kiwi conditions, because those towing tests are always often on Aussie highways, not on twisty, curvy roads like this, like we've got. I think this video, even though it's not towing at its maximum limit, I think this video is going to be much more reflective of a typical family towing test and typical Kiwi economy. Car's still there, dryer's still there, we're all going good. It's bloody comfy. And yeah, I should point out before anyone comments, all the emissions, all the carbon emitted by this vehicle will be offset. With carbon credits, tree planting, you name it, it will be offset. Oh, my retinas. And welcome to Taupo. Yes, we've finally made it. It's been a pretty effortless drive. I'll check the economy in a sec, but right now I'm going to find out where I'm going and if this Austin Allegro and BYD Shark 6 combo can steal the show. Oh yeah, plus a clothes dryer. Let's just drive over that. Okay. All right, let's go off-roading. I don't think this is an off-road trailer though. Oh, look at that, effortless. Welcome to Electricana 2025. We've got EV conversions, that red one, that's mine. We've got production cars, and we've also got the Tesla Cybertruck in the distance, plus some other cool stuff. Let's go check it out. All right, parking brake released. Let's hit the road. We are now leaving Electricana. The Allegro's all tied down. My only question now is whether or not we're going to make it there. Take it easy. With enough petrol. It's been using less than 15 litres per 100k, which is good considering the terrain I've been on and the speeds I've been going. But the petrol tank, it looks like it's gone through almost 2/3. So I might have to fill up before I even get to my destination. Stay tuned. We'll see you there. Well, I'm getting a little nervous now because the gasometer showing how much petrol range I've got left has now gone blank. I'm in the middle of nowhere because State Highway 1 is closed for roadworks again. again. So I'm on some twisty, turny, hilly back roads. No cell phone coverage, no petrol stations, and I don't know how long I'm going to go before I run out. Yeah, a little bit of range anxiety right now. Economy's not bad, just the petrol tank is not huge. That petrol gauge, remember I said it wasn't to be trusted? I was right. The estimation of how many Ks you've got left, it's woeful. It started off at 800, then 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's just gone straight down. So we may run out of petrol before we get to the destination. We've still got 70 odd Ks to go. Oh, it says we've got 94 Ks of petrol range remaining. We're not going to make it. Ooh, okay, this could be a problem. Might run out of petrol, might have to do the last few Ks in electric mode, or will it just shut down? I don't know, I think I'll just chicken out, find a gas station and fill up. Where am I, man? I'm in the middle of nowhere. All right, we are approaching an intersection. Google tells me to turn right here. There are 3 options to Te Awamutu from here. I'm just gonna go and check Google Maps to see which is the one that has the most likely chance of finding a petrol station. Is this what gas car drivers have to go through? This is horrible. Okay, so we got that option. That's twisty. That's twisty. Third option, that's very twisty. Quick update, I am driving economically. I have got the window down to try and minimize using the air conditioning. I've turned off the clothes dryer. Gosh, it smells like turds out here. We are in the countryside. I don't know how much fuel I've got. The orange fuel light has come on. I had no idea I was going to be driving on hills all day. It is intense. Yes, we've made it to Te Awamutu, baby. We are rocking and rolling. Okay, the engine's still going, 71% charge. What was I worried about? It's all good. That's what range anxiety is all about. It's all just made up. It's all in my mind. Okay, let me get this car unloaded, disconnect the trailer, fill it up with petrol, and then we'll tally some numbers and do a summary. And the numbers are in, and they are interesting. Okay, first of all, let's look at the total distance traveled. Ended up being 270 kilometers because I might have got lost at one point, but 270 kilometers of very intense terrain. We used, according to the car, just over 52 liters of fuel. Now that's a fair amount of fuel. That's more fuel than I thought I was going to use. But it was tough terrain. This wasn't an Aussie towing test with nice koalas and puppies and rainbows and flat highways. This was real Kiwi terrain. Hilly everywhere, not a single kilometer of highways traveled. The resulting economy is, drumroll please, 19.3 liters per 100 kilometers, which, and there's no way to sugarcoat it, that is a lot more fuel used than I expected it to. Okay, so obviously we know the terrain was tough, right? It was really tough terrain, but it also doesn't help that the trailer has the same aerodynamics as a Borg cube. Plus, of course, we've got that giant dryer up there acting like a giant metal parachute. Plus, it's running all the time as well. So all in all, I think with the added weight of the batteries in the tray, I think this has been a pretty tough test. 19.3 litres per 100k is probably about the same as what a Ford Ranger Raptor would use in similar terrain with a similar load. So it turns out this is not the most economical vehicle to use when towing in extreme terrain, in extreme conditions with a big, fat, heavy, un-aerodynamic load. But let's now talk pros and cons of using this as a tow vehicle. And the first con is that the towing limit isn't amazing. It's not bad, but it's pretty average, 2.5 tons. That's about normal for a ute. If you're going to be towing more than that, obviously get a ute with a higher towing capacity. BYD say they're going to have one very soon. Stay tuned, I'll be checking that out. Next complaint is potentially the tow gradient. This at 2.5 tons has a maximum tow gradient of 12%, which is, it's not even 7 degrees, which is not amazing. Well, that being said, before people start slamming it on the internet, as far as I can tell, it's the same for the Ranger. But this is really hard information to find. Take it with a grain of salt. The next con is that while this thing uses very little fuel around town, while you're towing at speed with a Borg cube, you will destroy your economy. You will end up using the same economy as a big 3-litre V6. The only difference is this, well, costs a lot less. But what about a list of pros, you might be asking? Well, it's got no shortage of them. I mean, if you're towing a light load or no load at all, you'll be hard pressed to find a more economical, higher performance vehicle than this when it comes to being a tradesperson's ute or just an accountant's ute. It's brilliant. It's got all the mod cons, all the luxuries. It rides so smoothly because it's got independent rear suspension with coil springs, the noise insulation, the seated seats, the ventilated seats, the heated steering wheel, the Android Auto, the gadgetry, the mission control functions you've got here. It's a very, very comfortable cruiser, especially when towing. Next pro is the economy. If you're running on electric only mode, then when towing a moderate load, I'd say you've got about 40 kilometers maximum range on electric mode. Now that's quite a lot for Auckland Central. That means that even towing a light load around Auckland as a tradesperson, your fuel bill will be effectively zero, especially if you're like me and you charge this thing off solar power. Right now, I'm running on electric only mode, running off solar power, and it costs me nothing. I pay for road user charges. That's it. This, plus solar, plus city driving, you're almost driving for free, man. The next thing I mentioned is power, and this thing is no slouch. Like, I'm going up a passing lane towing right now, and I'm doing 86 k's an hour, and it's not even breaking a sweat. However, if you are going to be towing close to this vehicle's limit, my advice is to get a vehicle with a higher tow rating, or hold fire, because BYD say they're bringing in a 3.5 ton tow rated plug-in hybrid very soon. Overall though, the Shark 6 has done pretty well in this towing test. It hasn't broken a sweat. Yes, the economy was more than I expected, but that's largely due to the Borg cube, the terrain, the weight. It's been quite challenging. Although, that being said, I am looking forward to replicating this test when we get our hands on the 3.5 ton towing version. Stay tuned, that's coming soon.